All right, here I am, back to my vlog, Friday Night Magic. Computerized MTG returning to Friday Night Magic, that's what I wanted to say. Unfortunately, I'm a little bit of, I don't know, how can I say this? I don't want to say disappointed, because I wasn't expecting much from tonight's return of the Grand King. But I am gonna say I am not too happy with the results. Like at all. I got my ass handed to fucking badly too. So I was running a, I know that I said I was going to run Grixis, and honestly maybe I should have, but I ended up running an Esper list from, what's his name, Sahin Sarani. Well, maybe I played it terribly. I probably did. Or maybe it's just not the deck to play in the current meta at my game shop. But the results were terrible. I went 1-3, which is something that has never happened. I've always gone at least 2-2 or 2-1-1. You know, at least I've gotten enough wins to get a pack. Always have. Never done this bad. So I don't know. Maybe it's just me not being in the loop of my local game shop anymore. Because I think it's been what, a month's worth of Friday Night Magics that I haven't attended. Man, it was terrible. I need to find something else to play. I think I'm gonna try to make sort of blue-white flash again. It's gonna suck without the smuggler copters and the reflector mages, but I think it's very much doable, and I'm gonna try doing that because I had fun playing that deck. This Esper deck list felt very lackluster. Again, I mean, Sahin Sarani is an amazing player, so if he ran it and made it to a top 8, must be good. But I don't know, maybe it's just not it for my current meta. Maybe I misplayed. Yeah. Anyways, enough rambling, enough fucking excuses. You lost, Computerized. Suck it up. Okay, so let's get into the matches. First match, I was up against a blue-red burn deck, and it played pretty bad. The Esper list runs very heavy on removal because it's aiming to go primarily up against vehicle decks and black-green. So round 1, I got pounded with burn. I don't run that many counter magics, and by the time I was able to get off my Gear Hulks and, you know, recast the few counter spells I run in the main, it didn't do much. It sucked. On game 2, I didn't draw too well, and honestly, I didn't mulligan as I should have. I kept a very iffy hand. I had an idea of what he was going to sideboard in, so I kept some removal for things in the eyes. But yeah, overall, it's still pretty bad and ended up losing. On the second game, what did I go up against? Second game, I went up against, it was a red-green energy deck. So, you know, typical stuff. You got the Cubs, you got the one chick that can tap for mana if you use an energy. You know, you guys know, red-green energy is a pretty popular deck, pretty casual deck if you ask me. I know it's been in the, it's seen some competitive play, and I know it can. It's pretty explosive. I mean, if you don't get the creatures off the board, it just runs you over. But yeah, so the first game I lost. No, the first game I won. My opponent drew a lot of lands. They drew way more lands than they needed to draw. And yeah, so when an aggro deck that draws a lot of lands and doesn't draw any creatures, control decks just kind of have a very fucking easy time. So that was game one. On game two, I lost. It was a little bit of a back and forth. I was starting to stabilize, and then I miscalculated, and just got killed, man. Aggro kills. And game three, similar issue happened as game one. My opponent got land screwed, but this time the other way around. He was stuck on 1 mana for a little bit, and then he ended up getting to 2 mana, but I think he was at 1 mana for 2 or 3 turns, longer than he should have been, really. And that gave me enough time to just kind of do what I needed to do my thing, kill his creature, and counter the few things that he actually put out on the board, and that was that. To bring up something that happened in the second game, and this is something that I kind of want to bring up to everybody. Now, Friday Night Magic, pretty casual. If somebody does something and catches it right away, I'll normally let them do a little take-backsy. I don't mind it, like if somebody taps the wrong land, like, oh, you know what, I meant to tap, say, an island instead of a plains. That's fine. Even if it could cost me the game, it's fine. I mean, there's little mistakes that, you know, when you get caught up in the moment and thinking or whatever, you tend to make. But something happened on game two. I ended up losing game two, so it didn't really end up mattering too much. But there was a way that blockers were assigned. My opponent asked if he could take something back. Oh, right, what was it? My opponent attacked with 3 creatures. I blocked one of them with, whatchamacallit, with Kalitas, Kalitas, whatever, fucking names. I blocked one of them with Kalitas, and then after declaring blockers, my opponent killed Kalitas. And I believe he said he was a newer player, and he mentioned, he asked me, like, you know, how'd the whole thing work, because he kept calculating the damage as though Kalitas had been killed prior to having it being assigned as a blocker. And at that point in time, after I explained, you know, like, well, you kill Kalitas, but, you know, your creature's still declared blocked, so unless you're able to give it trample, damage is not going to come through. So after they understood the explanation, they're like, okay, well, can I take it back? And I said no. And the guy replied with, really? Look, I don't mind letting you do your take-backsies. However, if it comes down, once again, I lost the game, so it wouldn't have mattered regardless, because I miscalculated the amount of energy he had and how many activations he could do. I thought he had 1 less energy, but anyways. When it comes down to combat damage, if I calculate, if I know that it's either I die or I do it this way and I survive, I'm not gonna let you do a take back. I mean, I understand there are newer players, you know, and there are players that are maybe not new, but might be new to standard and don't know some of the cards or what have you. But at the same time, I'm not gonna risk losing the game because you're not paying too much attention. I mean, there's exceptions. Don't get me wrong, I don't want to come across as an asshole, you know, I don't want to seem too competitive. I mean, it's fucking FNM. At the end of the day, who cares? I'm just there to have fun and play Magic with people. But at the same time, when it comes down to little things like that, I'm sorry, but it's not a no-go for me. So, if I calculate damage and I feel like it's either it has to be exactly this way, there's no other way I can survive, and you make that mistake that I thought you were gonna make, and then you ask, can I take it back? And if I say yes, that's gonna make me lose, then no, I'm sorry, that's not gonna happen. Again, most of the time, I let people take back and tap the wrong mana. They meant to cast, they'll cast something like, oh shit, you know what, your creature has Hexbread, but like, you know, that's fine. I'll let them take their spell back and whatever. I'm not gonna be an asshole all the time. But people have to understand they have to pay attention. So if it's gonna cost me the game, again, I hate to repeat myself, but if it's gonna cost me the game, no, sorry, you made a mistake. It happens to everybody. But yeah, so game 2, I won, and then it was a downhill loss from there. Let's see, game 3, I went up against red-white vehicles. The first game, I drew some removal, but I ran out of answers. I was not drawing any glimmers. I was not drawing anticipates. You know, it kind of sucked. So that was game 1. Game 2, I started stabilizing, but what got me is that, what is it, Fleet Wheel Cruiser, the one that comes down, and when it enters the battlefield, it's a creature until the end of the turn. You know, I was able to remove 2 of them, and then the third one slipped through, and I was at 7 life. I think it's 5, right? It's a 5-2 or a 5-3, something like that. I think it's a 5-2. That third one slipped through, and then he just happened to have a shock in hand. You know, so from 7 to 2, from 2 to 0. So that sucks. So I lost that one 2-0. And the fourth and final match was actually against my my supervisor. My supervisor at work, he plays Magic. I introduced him to it. So every so often we end up playing against each other. This was one of them. And the first game was somewhat grindy. I mean, it took fucking 30 minutes, but he ended up taking the win. I ran out of answers. I did not see, again, a single anticipate, a single glimmer throughout the entire game, and I just started bricking into land, so he took the win. The second game, we had 10 minutes left. It went to time. It went to turn 3, and he was able to steal the win. Once again, I had no answers. He was able to get off Soren's ultimate, and whatchamacallit, and he had 28 vampires out, so I was really crossing my fingers for a Fumigate, but instead of a Fumigate, I top deck a Prairie Stream. So obviously not gonna cut it, and I ended up losing. So tonight's record was 1-3. Kind of sucked. Kind of a bummer. At least I got a I have it in my trunk. If I had it here, I would have pulled it out, because I'm not gonna do an FNM loot for just one card, or maybe I might. Maybe I'll bring in some packs. Open those up. But I got that the promo. I forgot what card it is. Somebody's alarm's going off. But I forgot what card. It's the blue card. It has a Sphinx on the front. I don't remember the card. It's not a played card. The artwork looks fucking sick, though. I like the artwork, but that's about it. Anyways, I rambled on too long. Both about me being a sore loser, I guess, and about me being an asshole. Because I know a lot of you are going to take it that way. Oh, you're an asshole. It's FNM. Well, fuck it. Most of the times, I let people slide. Sometimes, though, very few exceptions, I don't. But anyways, 1-3 as per. If you guys have any suggestions of any fun decks that you want to see me play, either at FNM, test them out for you, why not? I have fun playing all sorts of decks. Or if you want to see any deck played at a standard league in my MTGO videos, let me know in the comments below. Otherwise, Computerized MTG, signing out. See you guys in the next video.